Welcome to Hairy Steve's workshop.
Hello, it's Hairy Steve and I'm back in my workshop again. I've made a couple of improvements to the workshop today. The first thing I've done is install some daylight so I can see what I'm doing. And the second thing I've done is I've fitted this cutting mat to the workbench. Now it was a little bit too wide originally, so I've had to cut about 50mm off the back of it. And these things are designed to be cut resistant, so that put up a bit of a fight. But never mind, I've got there in the end. So now it doesn't overhang the front of the workbench, and it'll protect the workbench underneath in the inevitable event that I slip with a knife. The third thing I've done is I fitted this extension lead to the wall here, and it's one of these types where it's got individual switches on all the outputs, so if I just want one thing switched on or off, that'll be fine. I can just leave everything else plugged in. The fourth thing I've done is I fitted a Tamiya sticker to my chest of drawers here, which is nice because I like Tamiya. I found a big pile of these when I was clearing out the workshop earlier on, so I might put a few more somewhere else as well. And the last thing I've done is I've created this, which, although it may look like a flower pot with a carrier bag inside it, it is actually a rubbish bin. And a rubbish bin is something I've needed in here for a little while, so yeah. The other thing I've done is I fitted the carpet on the floor a little bit better than it was before. Originally it was just sort of a random piece of carpet lying roughly in the middle-ish of the floor, and the chair would sit on it, and if the chair came off the side of it, it would just sort of get all tangled up and everything. But this time I've actually got hold of a slightly bigger bit of carpet, and I've cut it to more or less the right shape, so I'll just quickly show you that as well. There you go, carpet. What? I did say I was going to quickly show you the carpet. Can't please everyone, I guess. Anyway, the other thing we've got to talk about is this big pile of boxes here. So I'll show you what's in them. Right, I've had my dinner now. So I've gone and got my favourite box opening implement, and we're going to show you what's in these boxes. So this is the first one. That is a hydraulic impact breaker for something. So we've got some hydraulic hose, we've got the actual breaker tip itself, which I shall open. It's basically a big hardened steel chisel, for want of a better word. That's the attachment bracket for whatever it is that this is going to be attached to. Might be able to get a clue from that. This is a hydraulic motor with, I would imagine, a cam driven impact weight on the end of it, because that's pretty heavy and it's got some springs on it. So that would impact the end of this, something like that. That's the housing for it all. I think I need new scissors, these ones are a bit blunt. So that's the main housing, and that's all made of steel. And then there's a little bag there full of nuts and bolts and connection pins, that kind of thing. So yes. So that goes in there, like so. And then that sits in there and is held in place by two pieces which go through there, and then it'll break things, which makes me happy. Let it go back in there for the minute. Right, next one. is a rotating 2-jaw grab kind of thing they use for picking up logs, demolition rubble, all that kind of thing. So let's have a look. So that's the main base. So there's 2 big grabs pivot on these holes here and here. And we've got the 2 hydraulic rams there that operate it. And there's this bit that rather complicated looking lump is a hydraulic motor and slip ring mechanism. So you've got the hydraulic motor at the top there, and then there are 2 pipes go in there, and then this whole part rotates. So that part and that part rotate independently, which are driven by this motor, and then those 2 outlets there are connected to those 2 inlets there through a series of channels and O-rings, so that this can rotate 360 degrees and it will still get oil from there down to there, so that you can have the grab sitting there like that, and it can rotate a full 360 degrees without getting all the lines wrapped up. So that's good, I like that. That's another one of these attachments for attaching this to something. That's all the hinge pins. That's a cross link, so that when the 2 grabs open and close, they stay in relation to each other. They move basically in the same way. And then these parts here are sort of the jaw wear plates, as it were. And then a load more nuts and bolts and screws. That's a pack of hydraulic fittings. And these are the main bits. So these are the 2 main jaw sections. So these would fit on something like that. There. So they're open and close like that. Well, not quite like that, in a slightly more openy and closey fashion. But yes, these are nice substantial steel parts as well. And then a little pack of hydraulic line as well, so that can all go back in there for the minute. And the instructions. Okay, on to the next one, which is a demolition shear, I believe they call these. So it's basically a crusher, and that one rotates as well, similar to the grab we just had a look at. So again, we've got hydraulic line, pins, nuts, bolts. Let's have a look at this. So this is a fairly chunky little hydraulic ram. Wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of this when it's got 4 bar behind it. And then we've got the rotating slip ring assembly, same as the other one, so I won't bother opening that, you've already seen that. And we've got, this is the moving jaw. So that's the moving side of the jaw mechanism, and again this is all made out of steel. This is the main housing of the fixed jaw. So that's a chunky old lump of metal. This one's got the teeth on it there, and a tooth there, and then the ram sort of sits across it at an angle, basically from that hole comes out about here somewhere, and the rotating bit on the top there. another attachment bracket for whatever it attaches to, and lastly, oh no, not quite lastly, some hydraulic fittings, and lastly, those are the teeth that go on the moving part of the jaw, and this is a little sliding cover which sits like that somehow. Oh, slightly out of alignment, but anyway, so it sits something like that, and it stops crud getting on the piston rod, because the last thing you want to do is get crud all over the piston rod, because then it'll sort of get into the O-ring around the end of the ram and knacker the O-ring and it'll start leaking. I think it's actually pinched in slightly, this, so I don't know, might need a little bit of a persuade to open them out slightly and get it back on, but yes, that's all good. Put that back in there. Get rid of them. And this is the last one of the big items, which is a 5-jaw, I think they call these orange peel grabs. So each of the jaws has a plate on it, so when it's all closed up it forms like a big sort of bowl shape at the bottom. So we've got 2 different sizes of hydraulic line this time, loads of hydraulic fittings. This piece actually acts as a distribution block for all the hydraulics. So there are 2 inlets on each side at the top there, and then one of them goes to this top ring with threaded holes, which pipes through one side of the ram's attached to, and at the bottom is another set of threaded holes which the pipes for the bottom end of the ram go to. So that's basically a pivot point and distribution block all in one. And then we've got these bits here, so those plates are basically shields to stop crud getting down inside the jaw assembly, and then that bit there is part of the mechanism that hangs it off the whatever it is it's attached to. And we've got various nuts, bolts, pins, etc. We've got 5 little hydraulic rams. This is the main core, I suppose you could call it, of the grab. That's in 2 pieces, I didn't know that. Yeah, so, oh I see, so it's keyed, so it can only go on one way around. There, so that's, yeah, it's the right way up. So those sort of diamond shaped shield bits bolt onto these and sit down there, stop them from getting crud inside it. There's a big spring goes around the middle there, and then that's the top, that's the bottom, so the jaws attach on there. And these are the jaws. So that's the jaw. So as you can see, there's an angle to it, so that when there's 5 of them all round, they basically form a big kind of bowl shape, and they go on like that, and then the hydraulic ram goes from there to there, and then that little sort of linkage bit there attaches to a part which has got a big spring underneath it, so that when all of these are out like this, the spring pushes down and holds them open, and then when you close it again, that compresses the spring. So the spring basically helps the rams lift these jaws open, because they're not particularly heavy, but when there's 5 of them, they will be quite a bit of weight to them. That's the attachment for whatever it's going on. which is slightly different to the others because it's got these two mounting lugs on it, which that pivot point thing there attaches to. And then this is the big spring I was just mentioned. Which is fairly stiff. And that goes in there. And then, I've seen it somewhere, that ring shaped bit there, which you can't really see, get that packet. Right, so that goes there and is held down by that spring. That's upside down in a minute, so it goes that way up. So yes, so when that's all assembled, that black ring there is pushed down by the spring, so that when this opens, that black ring is attached to the end of here and it pushes it down, which helps this to open. And there are obviously 4 more of these jaws in here, but they're all exactly the same, so I'll leave the others in their packaging for the minute. So that's that lot. Take that back off there. Put that back in there so I don't lose it. So put it where it is. And what I would like to do at some stage is have a look at this and see if I can make it rotate. Because a lot of these on-real vehicles, they can actually rotate, so if you can use it with like picking up a scrap car or something like that, you can pick it up, turn it, put it over there, something like that. So at some stage I'd like to see if it can be done with this, but I think it's going to involve quite a lot of work and making parts and things like that, which I'm not really competent at doing at the moment, but you never know, we'll see. Now the last box is here we go. So we've got a quick release, which is the bit that goes on the whatever this is going on. So we've got, these are the main frame parts. So you've got a hole at that end, which this little cylinder goes in, and then at that end a fixed pin goes in. So you hook it in there, then lock it down, and the pin pops out to hold the attachment in place. And then that's the little double acting, basically like a pin ram effectively, these 2 pins on each end, depending which fitting you put oil into, they either go in or come out. So you attach it with them in and then you pop them out and they hold the attachment in place. And then there's various pins and nuts and bolts and bits and pieces, some oil line, and yes, so that's all there as well. It's relatively straightforward. They're quite a simple idea, these little hydraulic quick connects. It'll take a bit of practice to use. It's not so much using it, it is sort of lining everything up. You know, you've got to try and get the boom on whatever it is attached to the thing, and then flip it round and lock the pins out, and away you go. Oh, mustn't forget that bit. And the last thing is a load of these little quick connect, which the reason I got so many is that piece there, which attaches to these attachments. Things like the orange peel grab and the breaker only need 2, but the rotating grab and the rotating crusher need 5 of these on each one, and the only way you can get them is with this end as well, which is a bit of a pain. Now you see, I only need 5 of these for whatever it is I'm making, but I need 15 of these, so I've had to order 15 of the complete attachments. So if anybody needs any of these, let me know, because I've got 10 of them going spare. I've got 9 of them going spare. Found it. Okay, I've got 10 of these spare, so if anyone needs one, let me know. But Basically, there's no point in having all these attachments if I've got nothing to attach them to. So this is part of a larger project, which I will show you at some stage, and the bulk of it is sitting in a very large box in the back of my car. So I will get that out and I'll show you that as well, but probably not this evening because it's getting on a bit and I need to go and edit this lot and put it all up. So I shall show you the contents of the large box in the next video.
Thank you for watching my video. If you like what I do here, please subscribe to my channel. There are also some more videos for you to watch on screen, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.